لا إله إلا الله.
For the sake of Lady Fatima Zahra Salamullahi alayha, that these days are dedicated to this lady, please recite a salawat. For the soul of Lady Fatima al-Ma'suma Salamullahi alayha, that we are in her holy shrine and we're talking from this sacred land, please recite another salawat. Our owner and master Imam al-Mahdi Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif is waiting for delivery. May Allah hasten his reappearance. For his coming, please recite the third salawat. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين. To talk about how could we live in this world, there are many issues would be covered, but for me some of them are so important, and I've chosen one because it is crucial and plays the role of engine for moving forward, and that's change happening in this world and our life. What is the meaning of change? How could we actualize the potential change in our life? What is the way for channelizing the change to be beneficial for ourselves? What does Quran say? What does Islam say in this regard? Is there any way prescribed by the Holy Quran to change or not? These are some issues I wanted to start with, and inshallah to go through that topic and reach some points. I don't want to take your time more, but the issue would be covered here is the most important issue that is always coming to a question, and it is under question all the time, and people from different expertise are interested in this issue. The first question, what is change? Is that happening all the time? What is the changing thing? Are the things, all of them, changing? Or some of them are fixed? Could we change whatever we want? Are they all in our hands or not? Some of them are out of our control. The best things we can start with is the place for changing, to make ourselves in a new position to be pleasant for us, to change whatever is not pleasant for our soul to be so pleasant and joyful. What is the place for that? Is that in the outside? Is that in the inner side of human beings? The many people around the world are seeking change and happiness in the external and real world. Is that the achievement of money, progress in our life, social position, the honorable life and family, the dignity that we can own? What is changing our life? What is bringing change to us? According to the Holy Quran, there is one great verse that is calling people to change, but the correct place for change is not external world, that is inside of you. What is inside is real change. I do remember one of the Christian scholars, he was one of the bishops, and was in a deathbed, was talking as a final will for his children. He said, when I was a young boy, I was thinking about changing world, because all priests, religious scholar all the time, interested in changing the world to the best one, in reforming what is not pleasant, what is not compatible with religious teachings. Little by little, when I grew up, I noticed that changing the world, such a huge world, great world, is not so possible for me. It's better to focus on one continent. For example, America, or Europe, or Asia, Africa. When I grew up enough and reached my middle age, I noticed and realized that, oh, this is so heavy mission over my shoulder, I cannot change even one continent. It's better to focus on one country, because changing one country is much more easier than the continent or the world. So I go forward in my age and reach the age of perfection and realize that, oh, changing the country is also difficult for me. It's better to focus on one city that I'm living in. And after one city, I found that this is so difficult as well. I cannot change the city. It's better to change the family. Okay? My spouse, my children. If I change these people, just few people, so that I think that can I change the world. And now I'm dying and reached new point. And that is, if from the beginning I focused on changing myself, it was possible for me to change the world, entire world. But now I'm realizing, finding myself that I'm not, planned enough for myself, and I'm forgotten by myself, then nothing happened, no change happened in my life. So the Holy Quran mentions this approach by saying that people who are seeking some change, it's better to focus on themselves. And this is not God changing everything. This is not nature changing everything. This is ourselves. We can change, but what? Whatever is inside of us, what is inside is changing. And we can own our own capacities, faculties of souls, whatever exists in our soul, we are owning, can control, can change. Whoever changes his self or herself can change the real world. Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Allah the Almighty doesn't change the existence, the situation, condition for people, nations, unless they themselves change whatever exists inside them. You want to reach happiness? Change your attitudes toward happiness. You want to get free from any kind of calamities, disasters, sadness? Change your attitude toward the things that are going to be seen difficult. If you change your attitude, then you can change the world, the reality. And I say always that no one can find happiness in the real world, because the real world is the materialistic world. The barriers, obstacles before you are many, and you cannot find the real joy, the real happiness in this world. Whatever you can find is inside, is located in the inner side of you. Then find your happiness, find your joy, find your calmness, peace, free from any stress and pressure in yourself, not outside. Allah changed the real world if you change your inner world. There are two words and they are interrelated, interconnected. The world of yourself. أتزعم أنك جرم صغير وفيك أنت والعالم الأكبر. So you are not a small mass, a physics that is so small, not great. There is a great world inside you. You've forgotten that. You forget. Think about that. Reflect on that inner world. If you change that inner world, you can change the real world. If you don't, you couldn't change and doesn't change, then whatever exists in the real world exists forever. You cannot change anything. So I want to change. What is the beginning step in my soul to start with, to begin with? I think the attitude is very important. To change the attitudes. There are many things can be considered as difficulties for some people, but for few people that are perfect men, these things are pleasant. They enjoy that situation. How? By changing the attitudes. They see difficulty as to be joyful and pleasant situation and condition. I do remember, I want to remind you the story of Lady Zainab salamullahi alayha. What happened on the day of Ashura in Karbala. So that was really great tragedy happened to Ahlul Bayt. Great tragedy. Martyrdom, annoying, being slaves for the enemies, disrespecting Ahlul Bayt. So all of them happened in just half a day. And that was a tragic event happened in history. But Lady Zainab salamullahi alayha says, I didn't see except beauty. Whatever I saw was beautiful, was pleasant. I can't stand this situation. Or this is the same thing that Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu wasalam said after the martyrdom of his son, 6-month-old baby, Ali al-Asghar. He said, oh Allah, this is something can I stand, because all of these things happening before your eyes, you are seeing, watching, then I can tolerate this. You are the judge on the day of resurrection, and the judge is the same witness today. So Abu Abdullah and all Imams tolerated, and they were patient all the time, because the nature of the things that are seeming to be so difficult and tragedy, the nature is pleasant, because Allah is going to try these people. This is the test from Allah the Almighty to say, okay, Alhamdulillah, Imam al-Hussein as a servant of Allah the Almighty is one of the patients, one of the true believers of Allah the Almighty. Through that we can understand the result. One of the issues that is important for changing attitudes is to see conflict, problem, difficulty as non-conflict. This is what some people who are practicing some peacemaking process in the world, they say this is conflict transformation process. Through that, they emphasize on transforming whatever is conflict to be non-conflict. This is something more than the previous step. At the first step, we see that this is the problem we have to tolerate. This is one attitude, the first one. And to be patient and to practice sabr before that calamity is not so high degree of patience. Allah will reward that patience, but not in a high ranking, high degree. There is something more to see that this difficulty and problem, bala, calamity, is not bala. It is a gift from Allah the Almighty to me. I see that problem as a non-problem. Difficulty as a non-difficulty. I see these are so pleasant because Allah is going to test me, to try me. Then the best patience for that leads to the best rewards of Allah the Almighty. So changing and transforming conflict to non-conflict and difficulty to non-difficulty. This is the other issue we can practice it. And the other one and the third one that is helping us to change our attitude toward problems and difficulties is to see Allah's satisfaction in whatever coming to us. In the two previous ones and steps, we just look at the problems themselves, but now we are forgetting about whatever happening to us, just focusing on God Himself. Oh Allah the Almighty, we're looking at your satisfaction and your anger. Whatever is going to satisfy you, it is satisfying me as well. So I am satisfying with the satisfaction of God, not my own satisfaction. I'm not important. I'm not seeing myself. What exists is Allah's satisfaction. Then, if you practice that, you are practicing the best change. The best change happens in your attitude. You are shifting your approach from this materialistic world and the events happening and taking place in this world toward Allah the Almighty. Shifting from the earth toward the heaven. From the problems toward the mercy, toward the gift present of Allah the Almighty. If we can practice that, then the change happens. Allah is changing whatever exists in the real world, but He is looking at myself. If I change my attitude, Allah will change the real world. Otherwise, change would not happen to us. We have to do some steps toward Allah the Almighty. To go toward Allah the Almighty, at least one step. The other steps will be taken by the power of God, by the mercy of Allah the Almighty. So I want to just refer to some tips in this lecture. Through that we can change our way of life, our lifestyle toward the best one. The first one in changing the way of life is changing the way and finding the new way of living. If you used to live one way of living, from now decide to change your way of life. Whatever is beneficial for you, whatever is joyful for you, and that is the life of God's. Go toward God through taking new way. The others that are living around you are important in changing your lifestyle. Take care of them. put emphasis and great look at them. They are coming, accompanying you in this new way. How? Care about their speech, their talks, judgment about you. Don't be sad about their judgment about you. Accept them as a gift from your brothers and sisters in Islam, in religion. They are important. If they don't talk about you, you yourself ask them what they are thinking about you. Let them talk about you, because through their talking, you can find your capacities, your weak points, your strong points will become clear and clear for yourself, and through that you can decide for yourself, for your future more and best. Planning every day for your life. I do remember one of the young people wrote a letter to Allama Tabatabai that I'm living in a country that is full of sins and problems. And religiosity over there is not so strong. I cannot be a religious person in that society. Please advise me to do my best in this regard, to change my life. Allama Tabatabai wrote a very brief answer for that. He replies in this way. At the beginning of your day, when you're going to start your day, decide not to go astray, not to commit a sin just during a day. Till the end of that day, one day, not more, decide not to commit sin, not to disobey Allah the Almighty. At the beginning of a day. Through a day, or that day, try not to violate your promise to yourself. Because you promised to yourself that you're going to be a faithful person. Try not to violate your promise, not to commit any sin. At the end of that day, at night, when you're going to go to the bed, think about whatever you did, whatever you said, to what you looked. So all of these things will be calculated at the end of the day. And then if you see that, alhamdulillah, you were so good person and believer, faithful one, and you respected your promise to yourself, then do shukr, alhamdulillah, praise to God. Oh God, thank you, because you helped me to be a reliable person in my business, not the others. Others are not so important. I can rely on myself. I can rely on my promise. If you see that now, you violated whatever you promised, then do tawbah, return back to Allah the Almighty by doing tawbah. Oh God, forgive me. I did something wrong. Not because I wanted to disobey you, no. I just couldn't, be so strong against my soul that is all the time commanding whatever bad. Ammaratan bisu. So if you practice this, prescription next day and the upcoming days, then you can become sure little by little that change is happening. But you have to try. And the other point that can be understood through the ahadith, some people, when they try to change themselves, they focus on the past or they focus on the future. But all the time we think about whatever we did and that was so bad, and we cannot change because it is out of our hand. We cannot control the past. It is past, and the future is not coming yet. How could we change the future or change the past? then cannot be successful in the process of changing. What Amir al-Mu'mineen says, this is attributed, this poem, to Amir al-Mu'mineen when he says, مَا فَاتَ مَضَى وَمَا سَيَأْتِيكَ فَأَيْنَ. What past is past. There is no past now. It is nothing. وَمَا سَيَأْتِيكَ فَأَيْنَ. And what will come is not coming yet, has not come yet. قُمْ فَاغْتَنِمِ الْفُرْصَةَ بَيْنَ الْعَدَمَيْنِ. So you have to stand up and take the opportunity between two kinds of nothingness. One nothing is past. The other nothing has not come yet. So what exists is present time. Currently we present. Currently we are living. So take the opportunity of right now, the moment that you live. If you take this opportunity, tomorrow, today will become past, and you control the past. And again, you can plan for your future, because tomorrow is the future of today, and tomorrow you will change your current day as well. Then the moment that you're living is very important. Do not think about your past, do not think about your future, but now you can do whatever you want. You can change your past, you can plan for your future. Whatever you want, you can do right now, at the moment you live, at the moment you're hearing my voice. Don't postpone your change process. Don't delay your revolutionary process of your time, your life. Right now you can change your time. The other things in the process of changing we have to focus is the different organs that we have. Especially some of them are important, like tongue, eyes, ears, heart. These are so important. We have to watch all of these things during the day. Whatever we talk is important. Before talking, please let me think about that. Whatever I'm talking is important to hurting somebody or benefiting somebody. Which one is coming out of my mouth? It's important. Especially many sins that we have that are counted in the books of ethics are coming out of our tongue. We are backbiting, we are telling lies, we are breaking the heart of some people through our words and talking. So if you control your tongue, you can change the real world. You can change your heart. You can change your inner side. Eyes are important, ears are important. I do remember one hadith from Imam As-Sajjad alayhi salatu wassalam, the fourth Imam of Shiite Muslims. Imam says, the duration of this world, materialistic world, toward the hereafter is like a sleep that you are having a dream in that sleep, but this dream is not so pleasant dream. You are fearing, you are annoying at that dream. This is like a dream with respect to the duration of life in Akhirah, in hereafter. If it is so, then I can live it without any problems. Even if you are in some jails, for example, or prison in difficulties, entangled in difficulties, you enjoy that situation because it is passing. It is foregoing. Then you have to forego many, many things. Forgo means to deny, to go without seeing, without focusing in around. If there is a problem, do not fix on that problem. Forgo. If there is a problem, somebody said to you that is not so good thing, forgo. Because the time is forgoing. The time is going without staying, without reaching the point to stay. And if you forgo, you are flowing day by day, and this flowing gives you some flourishing, some refreshness. You can reach a fresh atmosphere of living if you practice that. So the way we can change is inside, not outside. And if you change yourself, then you can become sure that the real world changing by Allah's power, by Allah's will. How could we change? Focusing on current time, the moment that you live. Forget about the past as well as the future. In the sense, do not stay in the past and do not live in the future. Forget in this means. But some people, unfortunately, live in the past. Some people live in the future. Rarely people you can find that living in the moment, in the present time. To change that, focus about your attitude toward this world. To transform whatever is bad at the first sight to the best one. And to focus on your organs, your eyes, tongue, ears, heart, and the other faculties that Allah gifted us. And these are as well dedicated to Lady Fatima al-Zahra, salamullah alayha. We can change the way of our life toward the other companions that they lived in this journey toward Allah the Almighty. If you accompany with the perfect people, they can take your hand toward Allah the Almighty in the best way, in an easiest way. But if you forget about them, you will become in trouble, in difficulty. Inshallah, I ask Allah the Almighty to put us among the people, travelers, wayfarers toward Allah the Almighty, who were perfect people, such as Ahlul Bayt, such as Lady Fatima Zahra, salamullah alayha, and the other prophets, previous prophets, and enable us to change the situation that we live to the best one, inshallah ar-Rahman. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.